Welcome back to County Connection. We are here now with Ann Gannon, our county's constitutional tax collector. Her agency is responsible for the annual collection and distribution of more than $3 billion in taxes. These dollars fund critical services including law enforcement, fire and rescue, education, and health services. In addition, Gannon's offices are responsible for issuing driver's licenses. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
I hear that you have something special that's going on for veterans in particular. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, 2 years ago, the Florida legislature passed a bill that allows us to put a V designation on a driver's license if you've been honorably discharged from any of our armed services. So we encourage veterans to please come in our office, bring their discharge papers, and we would be glad to put that V designation. And one of the reasons we like putting that on there is there are a number of big box stores that actually allow veterans to receive a discount on major purchases. There's actually a website that you can go to and download the list of discounts available for veterans.
That's excellent. How exactly would a veteran go about getting that V designation?
Well, they should come into any one of our 8 offices and bring their honorable discharged papers, and we will proceed to put that V on their driver's license. If they're not making any changes to their driver's license, it would cost them $2, and if they're making a change such as renewing or changing their address, the cost would be $1. And those fees actually don't stay in our office. They're sent to the state of Florida.
If a person comes to get that designation, how important is it for them to have the real ID?
Well, as you know, right after 9/11, the United States Congress passed what's called the Real ID Act, and they actually amended it and talked about it for a couple years before we actually were required to implement it. And 3 years ago, we were required to implement it. You must come in our office and bring us a number of documents to actually prove who you are. After 9/11 and the number of terrorists who actually received driver's license here in Palm Beach County in the Delray Beach DMV office, Congress decided that we needed to close some of the loopholes and require some higher level of identification for security in our country.
What exactly would a person need to get the real ID?
Well, the first thing, they can either bring us an expired or current passport or their birth certificate. If it's their birth certificate, it must be a certified copy of their birth certificate. They would have to bring us 2 proofs of address, which could be your driver's license, your property tax bill, an insurance payment, and then they must bring us a Social Security card, an original Social Security card, not the one you got when you were 13, but an original card from the Social Security Administration.
Why would we need the real ID moving forward?
Well, one of the reasons that you're required to do that is because in 2017, if you are not Real ID compliant, and anyone who is questioning whether they are compliant can look at their driver's license, there's a gold star in the upper right-hand corner. A person will no longer be able to get on a commercial airline flight in our country or go into a federal building.
So a lot of restrictions ahead without the proper documentation.
And I think some of our veterans have had some issues with having to prove who they are because they've actually defended our country. And we understand that and try and work with them, but unfortunately we're required under the federal statute to ask for those forms of documentation to prove that you're a U.S. citizen or that you were born in this country.
I know that your office also collects property taxes. Can you tell us about any special property tax exemptions that would be for veterans only?
Well, actually, depending on the level of your disability, if you're 100% disabled, you get 100% exemption from the payment of property taxes. If you're like I think 75% disabled, you would get a different percentage of reduction in your property taxes. So it depends on the level of your disability and the requirement that you must bring proof into our office from the Social Security not the Social Security, the Veterans Administration, to prove the level of disability. And it's actually the property appraiser's office you need to furnish that documentation to. And they of course incorporate it in the tax rolls, and when they upload the tax roll to us each year, that disability percentage is reflected in your property tax payment.
And a person would be able to go to the property appraiser's website to get more specific information on that exemption?
Right. You would download the form and fill the form out and take it to them, and then they would actually verify that and get back to you and let you know, or it would just magically show up on your tax bill. Mm-hmm. But if in fact there's someone in the community from my office that can assist you with, we could also assist you with getting the form and help you complete the form and get it to the property appraiser. We'd be glad to do that.
That's super, just excellent information. How does a veteran who meets these qualifications, apply and move forward?
Well, they could go to the property appraiser's website and fill out the form, and they will take care of the reductions. And as I said, when the property tax roll is uploaded to our site, it shows up in your tax bill.
Well, Ann, thank you for coming on the show today and helping us navigate the new and different sorts of benefits that are available for veterans. We really appreciate your time.
Well, we really want to help our veterans. They've spent years serving our country and giving up things that many of the people in our country don't value as much as they did. So we'd be glad to help and assist in any way.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.